Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Yankee and the Brit. I'm Jay. He's Maddie. And today we're going to talk about the Julio Jones trade. But first, Maddie, I think you want to give a shout out.
Yeah, I have something important to say, and that's a big thank you to Sean Lee and congratulations on your retirement, man. It's well earned. There are a lot of people saying like the dude didn't play enough games. Well, the guy had 3 separate ACL tears. It's because he puts his body on the line. He should be considered one of the greatest linebackers, probably to not be in the Hall of Fame. It does seem like I doubt he'll be in the Hall of Fame, but in credit, one of the smart guys of the game, one of the guys that would play rugby. He was actually my dad's favorite player. For a British guy, your favorite player on the team is a big deal because the American football tops are very expensive for us to get. So if you have a guy's name on your American football top, then like he's a big deal. I'm very upset to see him go, but I totally understand. I hope he comes back in a coaching role. And now it's time for the Cowboys to use that second draft pick on one of the stud linebackers that's going to be out, number 2 or 3.
Yeah, big shout out. Sean Lee was a great player. Without the injuries, probably a Hall of Famer. Right as it stands, he's probably just in the Hall of really good because of the injuries. But take nothing away from that guy. Straight animal on the football field. And everybody on Dallas is going to be sad to see him go. Everybody in the rest of the East just went.
Yeah, and there's 2 players in Dallas history where you think if they were less injured, we would have had more of a chance at Super Bowls. There's 2 players that come to mind in my idea, and that's Tony Romo, who's my favorite Dallas player of all time, and Sean Lee. Wherever you think, like, if those guys weren't injured, you think, oh, maybe we have more of a chance because Sean Lee's leadership on the pitch and the brains that he has, like, you could see him looking at an offense and thinking, yep, I know exactly what you're going to do, and I know how we're going to stop it, telling his other linebackers, and it's a shame that he's not there.
But I'm with you. I'm not a Cowboys hater or a fan, even though I have fun shitting on Dak Prescott. Being a Wisconsin kid myself, I always followed Romo, cheered for Romo. So that was those 2 guys. Back injuries, but
And you think
Julio Jones.
Yeah, let's do it.
This is going to be one of the more complex, not in what they have to do, because that shit breaks down easy, on how they pull off a trade of Julio Jones. Because for those who don't know, me and Maddie were just talking about this before we started recording. It's going to make it a little strange because nobody can use this year's draft picks to get Julio Jones because he's going to be designated a post-June 1st trade. Otherwise, Atlanta has to eat way too big of a cap hit and cannot spread it out. So that wouldn't help their cap troubles. It's going to be an interesting time. There's a lot of teams that could use this guy, though.
Yeah, and I mean, one that comes to mind is it has to be a team that you know aren't going to be great next year. If you want that, because it's probably going to be an older receiver, like few injury problems, like 2nd round pick for Julio Jones. So you're thinking you want to be picking at the top of the 2nd round.
Because of his cost and stuff too, though, I'll be surprised they get better in the 3rd.
Yeah, exactly. But you want somebody that's at the top of those rounds. Like if it's a 1st round pick, you don't mind who it goes to because at least you've got a 1st round pick. But if you're in the mid rounds, you want it to be somebody who you know is not going to be great. And teams that come to mind is the Bengals could do that. Like if they want to, like that means they don't have to trade Jamar Chase. They can get Penei Sewell.
If they trade Julio Jones to a team like that, they did him dirty. And I don't think because 100%. Of what he did for that organization, they will do him dirty.
Yeah,
I got a trade scenario, but it'll never happen. Gutekunst in Green Bay needs to pick up the phone and be like, what do you want? And they're like, we want a 3rd and a 4th. And Gutekunst should be like, I'll give you a 3rd and 2 4ths, and let's get it done. I'm just saying, give this guy 2 or 3 years with Aaron Rodgers and go win one.
Yeah, we want a 3rd and a 4th or a 2nd. Yeah, here's a 2nd. Take it.
Or even take a 3rd and a 4th.
Whatever.
Take
just
2 thirds.
Just the Packers would really benefit from doing that. There are obvious teams that need weapons who are good teams, and it wouldn't be dirty to do it to Julio Jones. With the Michael Thomas problems in New Orleans, you think, well, get him off our books and get Julio Jones in, then that's trading in division. Would they do that? Probably not.
Probably not.
Packers would be a great spot for him, and it would make sure
the Bills.
Jones is an upset. The Bills, another great spot. You know, you think that kind of guy in the Bills opposite your favorite man, Stephon Diggs, then
used to be.
You know, but that would be like it's those kind of teams that would be great for him, and he would be great for. But there's very few NFL teams that would not worry about doing a guy dirty. Like, so the Houston.
No, but I just think that your top guys that are leaving, a lot of times they give them, they either release them when they could trade them, which isn't going to happen.
Yeah, which is what happened with JJ Watt.
Right. Or you kind of let him be part of the process and picking where he goes if all things are equal. Right. So I just think that also, if you're Julio and you try to trade me to Cincy, I'm like, I ain't coming.
Yeah, I ain't going. But I mean, there's a chance to say that Cincinnati aren't going to be as bad as they have been. Joe Burrow looks like a success.
If I'm Julio, I want that ring.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? So you're looking at ring contenders, and I mean, or you want the ring, or you want to go to big market. So Chicago Bears, that would make sense.
What about the Rams? They give up draft picks all the time. They don't care.
Bring them in.
Do
the Rams?
Let them run with Matt Stafford for a couple years.
Yeah, do the Rams care about giving up a third and a fourth? No, because they don't have any first rounders anyway. So that what's the third and the fourth? They let the other teams do the hard work and then pick them off later on. And I actually like that stance. I'm okay with that. If that's how you want to run your entire team, that's the only thing. The Chargers hook up with Justin Herbert. You see, like, the Chargers are going to be good this year. Like, they're going to be good. Like, they were terrible. They weren't coached right. There are obvious issues, and you think the Chargers would be a good spot for him as well. There are lots of teams that could use Julio Jones. The only thing that I'm questioning is, why do Atlanta want to get rid of him apart from cap hit?
I think it's just they figure with the cap savings, and who knows, Julio might be in that office like, come on, guys, we ain't going to do nothing the next couple of years. Help me out. And because he seems classy, I don't think he's going to hit the media unless he absolutely had to.
Yeah.
Also, it's like, man, you got a new coach. It's time for a change. Like, Matt Ryan's got 2 years at the most left with that team. I don't know. I know that people and fans want to go, Atlanta's still going to try to win. They're going to say that. I think they completely understand that they're rebuilding. And if you're rebuilding and you get rid of Julio, maybe you lose 2 or 3 more games and you draft at a higher pick. Now, if you're the GM, you think that way. Players don't want to hear that. But they're like, if we get rid of a star, maybe we're picking 4th again instead of 8th.
Yeah, you're also sat where the best weapon is in the draft this year. So you get rid of Julio Jones. You get the draft picks for next year, as we've mentioned, because of the cap. That's a better year to get your picks for anyway, as far as we're concerned, because the drafting process is back to normal. You're able to get the guys in, check them up yourselves, like do the interviews.
Nobody sat out 2021 in college.
Nobody sat out, exactly. Like, you know what you're drafting. Then people are scared now to take guys. That's why everybody's trying to draft back so they can get the picks for next year. And you could get Kyle Pitts if you're at 4 who. Like, let's face it, Kyle Pitts is going to be a hit in the NFL.
You're going to take whichever you think is the best pass catcher, which you and I both agree is Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, and Julio Jones, it is coming to the end of his career. Like, that's simply what's happening. And he has to win a Super Bowl in the next 2 or 3 years. Is how I'm feeling it. I bet the Arizona Cardinals are upset that they took AJ Green now.
You look at that receiving core, I don't think so. But if you're saying who would they have chose, they'd have probably chose Julio. But
if this happened at the same time,
consolation prize.
Yeah. If this happened at the same time, like, you're not upset that you got AJ Green, but Julio Jones seems like the better version of an older
DeAndre
receiver.
Hopkins and Julio Jones,
with Kyler Murray flinging that ball down to them as well. That would be absolute fire, but like, that won't happen now that they've taken AJ Green. But how fun would that be to see? Julio Jones has been a great player for the Falcons, and it's a shame that they're not good. You know, you just think Matt Ryan sat there really pissed off. Like, that's all. That's who I feel sorry for in this whole thing.
But to me, it almost seems like they've never been the same since that Super Bowl
Yeah.
second half ass kicking. And I feel like that might have got to Matt Ryan's confidence.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would be the same after that kind of chucking it away. But I just think Matt Ryan sat there and thinking, you're taking away my best weapon. Yeah, I'm going to get the best rookie on the board, but me and Julio are tight. Like, we've thrown for however many yards over the years, and I think he's pretty upset. But it seems like Matt Ryan's going to be out the door sometime soon anyway. So,
Well, to quote Pat McAfee, that's business, baby. It's just how the NFL is.
Yeah, and more exciting trade news just before the draft, which we're very excited for over here. So yeah, we love to talk trades. We love to talk draft. If anything, like the off seasons where we really come alive. That's why we love it the most.
Just so I can squeeze this in, if Julio gets traded and he wants to switch numbers, it won't cost him anything. But those guys who want to switch numbers, who now, like, if you look at, I think Dalvin Cook came out and was talking about going back to 4. 1.5 million. So like Patrick Peterson's like, well, it ain't going to cost me shit, so I'm going back to 7.
Yeah, exactly.
For one point, the NFL is ridiculous, and I just had to throw that in there at the end.
If Julio wants to become number 2, if he wants to become number 2 for some reason, it ain't going to cost him shit. So,
but the NFL is ridiculous. Like, buy your old jerseys. Like, dude, give them to them.
It's not the necessarily being made to buy your own jerseys. It's being made to buy them at retail price, not production price. So it's like, hang on, you'd still be making the same money if I bought these back at production price. Like, you'd still make them back, and more people would buy my jersey that has number 2 on it, because loads of Vikings fans have Cook 33 like on the back of their jerseys. Do you really need to switch from year to year? Like, do you need to switch from year to year, really? Like, I've had the same Sunderland top since for 5 years, because it's still red and white stripes. It doesn't matter. Like, it's the same color,
Yeah, I just think it's crazy how the NFL is trying to exploit the players in the midst of a new rule. So I just had to throw that in there, because I usually think, as much as we have issues, the NFL does a pretty good job at figuring things out, right? I mean, they figured out how to pull off a whole season during COVID.
Impressive.
Without a bubble.
It's the NFL is run for money. Like, it in the end, like, these teams.
Point, man.
Yeah, I know. These teams are run for money, and like they're not going to give you the money up. It is ridiculous that they're having to pay the retail price.
And
that's
not
the
even
crazy
in the top
part
10 of jerseys, by the way.
That's the crazy part of it. Is it? Yeah, exactly. Like, imagine Dak Prescott trying to change his number. Yeah, exactly. Tom Brady. Like, think of those guys who are. Yeah, Prescott. Who else? Aaron Rodgers trying to change his number. Like, that's going to cost them a ridiculous amount of money.
How many Cowboys fans you think got Zeke jerseys?
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb came out and said, I've grown to love the number 88. And it's like, yeah, because you would have to pay $1 million, and you're still on your rookie contract.
To be fair to him, though, that is a prestigious number.
That's the iconic jersey. I was upset with him.
I was upset with him. I wasn't, only because Irvin asked him to wear it.
Yeah, I was upset with him when he didn't want to wear it at first.
Oh,
because it was like, hang on, that's what all our best receivers wear, man. Like, that's the number you had to. And I know CeeDee Lamb's a bit different, but it's still the same. Like, do you really think he's grown to love it that much in the space of a year? Where if he wasn't able to get it for $3,000, he would pay that. Like, these players are making a lot of money, and it is fair that the teams recoup their costs.
He wouldn't trade is because of the backlash he would get.
Yeah. Exactly. That would definitely.
I think it's awesome that you guys have this one certain number that you only let guys you believe are going to be superstars receivers wear. I think it's cool.
Yeah, the Man United number 7 in football terms has got that. Cristiano Ronaldo wore it. Eric Cantona wore it. Like, it's that, like, the number 7 only goes to the guys who we think are going to be the best players on the team.
Yeah, and other sports are more like that. Like, if you're one of the best defensive players in hockey, you wear 2 or 4.
Yeah, like strikers wear number 9. Like, this whole NFL team jersey switching. I think Tom Brady's quote about it. Oh my God, it's going to cost.
I love
and
Brady,
you're thinking Brady, like, come on, you're one of the best guys to ever play, one of the students of the game, and you sat there and you think that you're not going to be able to tell the dude's a linebacker, even though you know exactly who the guy is, because he's wearing number
And
7.
you did it in college.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he wasn't that good in college, to be fair.
No, I mean,
that could
I'm
be what he's
saying
upset
all
with.
you blocked guys with weird numbers in college.
Yeah, exactly.
For the first time, I felt like Brady was almost the old get off my lawn guy.
Yeah, and it's the only problem is that it's going to be it's for the fans. Like, it's revolutionary for the fans because it's how we see the game, and you look at it and you think, like,
the players wanted it.
Yeah, the players want it, and it's going to be pretty cool to see. When I'm watching college games, I do struggle sometimes but like, it's because I'm not used to it. I've only ever watched American football. I've only ever watched American football with those number sets.
Right.
Like, I don't watch college football until like this year. Maybe last year I watched a bit more about the draft, but this year I've been watching the draft stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so confusing, but I'm sure after a season I get it, you know?
Yeah. And college football is weird. And I don't know if you know this, but you can have two guys on the same team have the same number as long as they're not on the field at the same time.
Not on the field at the same time. That baffles me. It's crazy.
Yeah,
but anyway,
weird shit.
Yeah, weird shit.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think about the Julio Jones trade, where you'd like him to go, and what you think reasonable compensation for this man would be.
Yeah, and also let us know what numbers you would like your favorite players to wear on their jerseys as well, because that became more of a topic than we thought it would do. But make sure that you tell us, like, if you want Ezekiel Elliott to wear number 2, for example, then let us know.
Yeah, I think it's going to be exciting. I think the NFL makes even more money with number changes. I think they're ridiculous for the way they're coming at the players, but whatever. Like we said, it's money. I said it in all these podcasts. I am so excited for the draft. I think Julio Jones goes on draft night.
Yeah, on draft night. Actually, on draft night. That's exciting. That is very exciting, man. I like it.
I think he'll go on draft night, and I think, oddly, it'll be for a player and a pick next year.
Yeah, I like it for a player. Wow, that'd be fun. Cowboys. I'm joking. I'm messing. It would be a Jerry Jones move.
Like, if they were willing to give you something with Julio Jones, maybe you give up Amari Cooper.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like that, like you know, that's just what they would do. I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying, like, that's something the Cowboys would be very interested in. Yeah.
So, all right, guys, we'll be back at you, especially after the draft, because I know life's gonna be really exciting for teams, because in the draft, everyone still has a chance.
Yeah,
That's
we all
what makes
know.
it so exciting.
Well, I imagine we'll have a video after every night of the draft to discuss the biggest moves, and then at the end of the draft, we'll do a whole hour-long thing breaking down the draft for you guys to listen to. So make sure you guys keep an eye on the draft, and you keep an eye on.
It's truly the only time in the NFL where all 32 teams feel hope.
True. The Cowboys fans always feel hope, you know, even no matter that, even if it's warranted or not. I remember when we only just beat the Atlanta Falcons and everybody said that we were going to be winning the Super Bowl, but you know,
at least you have loyal fans. All right, guys, thanks for checking us out. Follow us on all those podcasting platforms. All right, guys, one world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.